Hello everyone, welcome to my sad little corner of the internet. You're watching Graphics, and today I want to waste your time with a bit of a rant. And not just any rant, but a rant about something I actually like, namely Real Time, one of the very few American talk shows I actually find worth watching. And that is mainly because of its host, Bill Maher. But before I tell you how I got so annoyed, I woke up from my unproductive hibernation, I want to take you to the beginning of the story. And that beginning is on Twitter. You know, where all good stories begin. Earlier today, I took to Twitter to share some of my deepest intellectual considerations with you, but then I noticed that Piers Morgan was trending. Now, Piers is quite an asshole, so when people are talking about him, it's usually because he said or did something outrageous. And when I clicked on the trend, I saw all sorts of tweets by media outlets talking about Piers's appearance the other day on Real Time with Bill Maher. The Independent. Piers Morgan tried to take on Jim Jeffries over Trump. It went horribly wrong. Piers Morgan slammed by Jim Jeffries after defending Donald Trump. Bipartisan report. Piers Morgan got cursed out on Bill Maher and it was just as awesome as it sounds. Raw story. Oh fuck off. Jim Jeffries and Maher panel smack down Piers Morgan's concerned trolling on Trump. #realtime. Now look at that. I mean, those headlines suggest that Piers Morgan, he was torn a second asshole, am I right? That has to be some great television. We have to see that.
Could I ask this one last question? The people who said during the campaign that Hillary Clinton was the lesser of two evils, could we get the apology right now?
Yeah. Why?
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 As if, are you serious?
I'm serious, yeah.
Like Hillary Clinton would have a cabinet with Betsy DeVos and fucking Rick Perry?
She wouldn't have a Muslim ban.
They wouldn't have a Muslim ban. They wouldn't be feuding with everybody in the world. They wouldn't be doing this shit with Russia. Are you crazy?
Calm down, Bill. There is no Muslim ban. If there was,
fuck off.
Sorry, why don't we...
Fuck off.
Okay.
It's a fucking Muslim ban.
Okay.
He said there was a Muslim
This
ban.
is the point.
There's a Muslim
This is
ban.
a talk about the hysteria. I'm talking about 85% of the world's Muslims are allowed into the
This is
country.
what you do, Piers. You say, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that, he's not going to do all these things. Give him a fucking chance, mate.
And
you know what I mean?
Why not?
Hitler didn't kill the Jews on the first day. He worked up to it.
Mate.
All right.
See,
I have to stop you all.
that is the exact ridiculous, hysterical,
Not
over-the-top nonsense
If
that
people
is,
got
I'm afraid,
hysterical in
making
Germany
people like you
right
look
away,
ridiculous.
then it wouldn't have...
He's not the new Hitler.
You just like that you won The Apprentice and you have a famous friend, mate. That's all you fucking like.
Can I say one thing?
I know
That's all you like.
Wait, what? That was the epic beatdown. That was Piers Morgan just getting crushed by Bill Maher and Jim Jeffries. Alright. Well, maybe this debate was just such a level of genius it went right over my head. Who knows? Let's watch it again to see if I missed anything.
There is no Muslim ban. If there was,
fuck off.
Sorry, why don't we...
Fuck off.
Okay.
It's a fucking Muslim ban.
Okay.
He said that. You know what I mean?
Why not?
Hitler didn't kill the Jews on the first day. He worked up to it.
Mate.
You just like that you won The Apprentice and you have a famous friend, mate. That's all you fucking like.
Can I say one thing?
I know
That's all you like.
That's
all you like.
You're losing your audience.
You're
You know
not
why?
losing my
because
audience.
You're sounding unpleasant.
Am I
and you're
losing
also
it?
not basing...
After watching this, I have a question. Is Jim Jeffries 12? And why is Bill not saying anything? This is his show, his table, and these are his guests. If you invite someone to your show, you do that because you're interested in what that person has to say. And if there's one thing I've always admired Bill for, it's his willingness to talk to people he vehemently disagrees with, such as Ann Coulter, for example. And the only reason why people like Ann Coulter have always been willing to come on is because Bill wouldn't misrepresent them. They wouldn't get mistreated. They would get plenty of time to lay out their case. But this entire exchange was a fucking disgrace. Since when did fuck you and fuck off became good arguments, honestly? Since when is giving someone the middle finger a sign of intellectual superiority? If anything, yelling and swearing shows that you are incapable of having a calm, mature, and rational discussion. But apparently that doesn't matter, as long as you hold the popular opinion. You see, Mr. Jeffries, he is anti-Trump. Very, very anti-Trump. And for some reason, being an impolite Neanderthal is alright, as long as your opinion is the right one. Because if you're anti-Trump and up against a Trump supporter, every turd you shit smells of flowers, and every horse you touch turns into a fucking unicorn. If you're anti-Trump, every word that comes out of your mouth is brilliant and thoughtful and great. Even a simple fuck you or a middle finger becomes a sign of intellectual greatness, and nowadays it can even win you debates. I mean, in all honesty, is this liberalism now, guys? Is it? Because if it is, that's just fucking sad, isn't it? Let me make one thing clear here. I don't like Trump, alright? I'm not an angry Trump voter whose jimmies got rustled. And if I were an American, I would not have voted for this man. But even I understand that Piers Morgan was not treated fairly here. Even I can see that this is not how you talk to one another. Jim, if you want to convince Piers Morgan and people like him that he's wrong, you will have to do better than this. You have to come up with arguments in order to show him the error of his ways. Even if Piers holds a position you consider to be obviously wrong and retarded. And if you don't want to do that because you can't be bothered or because it's too frustrating, fine. Nobody asked you to. But then please, don't engage in political discussions. Either bring something sensible to the table and act in accordance with your age, or please stay out of it.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Hitler didn't kill the Jews on the first day. He worked up to it. Hitler didn't kill the Jews on the first day. He worked up to it.
Hitler didn't kill the Jews on the first day. He worked up to it.
I mean, a Hitler comparison? Really, Jim? For some reason, everybody thinks that Donald Trump is so very special. He is the only populist, apparently, that this world has ever seen. Let me tell you something. There are more places in this world with populist politicians, and some of them are very likely to win elections next year. America isn't the only one with this problem. Yet Trump is the only one being called Hitler. And believe me, there are people, especially in Eastern Europe, that have said far worse stuff than Donald Trump has. And just because Donald Trump is the president of the United States and with that has more influence and more reach, doesn't necessarily make him meaner or more likely to be evil. It just means that what he does will have a wider impact. While America with its two-party system hopped from Clinton to Bush to Obama, Europe had loads of struggles with its very broad spectrum of political entities, some of which were at the scary ends of the political spectrum. Do you see this, Jim? Do you know who these people are? Well, let me enlighten you. This is the Golden Dawn movement. They were very close to winning the Greek elections a few years ago, Jim, in case you forgot. Think of that again before you pull a ridiculous Hitler comparison out of your behind, because I've heard it more than enough. But obviously, I just don't understand. I mean, forget about all the other would-have-been Hitlers. Donald Trump, he's the actual new Hitler. I mean, obviously we've said this about practically every other right-wing populist at some point in history, but this time you have to believe us. This time you have to take it seriously, because now it's really true. This is actually the second Hitler. Guys, for real. I study history, and that doesn't by any means mean I'm automatically right here. But if there's one thing I learned in school, it's that you need to be very careful with historical analogies. And until we see a talent show called America's Next Hitler, I'd like to kindly request people to stop looking for another Hitler. Not everyone who's dumb, or obnoxious, or even extreme and dangerous is Hitler. In case you forgot, there are many stages between a good politician and Adolf Hitler. And there are even a lot of stages between a bad politician and Adolf Hitler. I mean, can't Trump be bad just being Trump? Isn't that good enough? Can't you criticize Trump for what he does? Why are people completely incapable of treating events and individuals as something unique rather than a reincarnation of something else? I mean, Jim Jeffries basically pulled another Ben Affleck. Now, credit what credit's due, although Jim didn't put any argument across the table at all, Bill did. There was a part of the episode where Bill actually engaged Piers Morgan and tried to make his case using arguments. But that part was, sadly, never uploaded to Real-Time's YouTube page. I don't know, maybe the Real-Time staff understood that a fuck you would get more clicks and likes than an actual discussion. I guess that's just the new standard for political debates. I'm already getting used to it.